What you're watching in front of you is the signal of a huge shift in the market. The first break gave you enough ROI to make decent wealth if you were trading. Now, this one arguably is showing you're going to make a 10, 20, 30x move in the altcoin market. So if you are participating in the altcoin market, yes, it's wild with what just happened today. You're watching crazy moves in the market, the up, the down. But if you rely on less noise and you follow the trend, it guides you till the top. I mean, how clearer should the price give you much more information? I mean, is it detailed spoon feeding? No. The market gives you the information, and as you can see, when the market gives you something like this with such level of clarity, what else do you really need? Whether that's the current affairs, the news cycle, whether that's the price action and the indicators, it's kind of aligning in different manner. Yes, obviously, it's the meme coin side of it, which is now rallying. You're about to see massive action in the entire crypto segments, mainly in payments, smart contracts, infrastructure. So if you don't have those segments in your portfolio, be ready. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. This is Ether showing you massive volatility in last 24 hours candle. That's great, that's cool, because it was the news, the anticipation, and everything coming in. But keep this in mind, the volume matters a lot. So when you're on a micro, which is zooming in on a daily here for this instance, you're watching the fact that, yeah, the daily was volatile, but there was a ton of buying power, which actually didn't end up being a macro bullish candle above $4,000. Yes, it is true you went close to 3,950, but that didn't get a continuation. So yes, on a higher time frame, this looks massively bullish, but the daily close here shows some volatility. Then I'm like, okay, let me actually zoom in. I want to see what really is happening here. And at that point, it kind of shows you an argument like the 1, the 2, the 3. That's a micro leg formation here, which is fine. So if the price actually consolidates here, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, with all that's happening on the news cycle and where we are on the macro cycle, this is Bitcoin dominance showing you alts are taking over. So when Bitcoin dominance is below moving average, is below trend line, that's a huge signal. Because right now on a weekly, you're testing the moving average. Breaking that moving average is a huge thing, because say you don't like all these patterns, trend lines, fine, remove all of them. Put it on a line chart. What do you see in front of you right now? I mean, this is just a pure line chart showing you this is your neckline. You broke that to the downside. A retest and a rejection is favorable. Historically speaking, when you go back, you can actually see that you formed similar structure. You had a retest and then you dropped. Okay, fine. Are we going to repeat the same, or is there going to be some kind of something coming in, a deviation? It is possible, you cannot rule it out, but the support, that was not the right drawing. Okay, the support which is turning into the resistance is what we want to see, a retest and a rejection. But the velocity of the movement is going to be based on micro to small to medium cap assets. When that altcoin market movement is happening, when you're watching such a giant candle to the downside on the altcoin market, look at which direction the momentum is changing. So one candle here, a weekly candle, is erasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weekly candles. So your trend to the upside, which was fading already, is now getting a hammer to the downside, which is in fact crazy bullish for the altcoin market. But that short-term volatility, which you should be looking at, when you zoom in, this is what you actually see. So you actually go in deep 12-hour chart. You're like, okay, this is happening, but isn't this a hanging man? Should we go back down? There is 5 to 10% odds for that for sure to test close to 3,000 at least. But you had massive amount of selling here. So if you compare it with the last crazy move, that 20% candle, we had more buying power here. That did not end up bringing the price back down to 3,000. So someone is buying huge, even though that sellers entered the market, they failed push the price to the downside. So on even a shorter horizon, what you're watching is that bulls are leading the show. So the moment you zoom out, you don't have a doubt about which direction you're going. I mean, if you do, now you're confusing yourself. Keep the noise away. Stay simple. Just measure the move on a weekly. I mean, the easiest part, guys, is this. You now have reached back to this point where the price has been playing around for last 10 weeks. This is 11th week. We still have 2 days more to see the weekly candle close. So we'll get the confirmation. But right now here, it's an easy argument which you can put. This one candle has erased last 10 weeks of corrective, consolidative movements. What else do you need? As a confirmation that this guy is pushing the market to the upside. Now, if it was only that one guy, I would have said, okay, that's just the ETF. But it's not that only asset doing it. The market as a whole is starting to show you different segments, different sizes, large cap, micro cap. They're starting to pick up. They're starting to move. The acceleration of those moves are going to be dependent on the segment, dependent on the size and the volume. That's one of the reasons why in the SI family we focus heavily on the breakouts, the volume, the indicators, everything you need to position yourself well enough for this ride up. Why is that super important? I'm reiterating this. If this is the pattern which you're watching and you just jump on the weekly chart, remove all of this, keeping the idea still in your mind, weekly is already showing you something. What is it? It is clearly showing you the price came back to the all-time high zone, but the RSI is no way near that. Negative divergence is already starting to develop. Confirmation will only come with a negative daily close where that gets rejected to the downside. This is what we're talking about. You're going to see something like this, a confirmation. Whether that's like this, I don't care. Whether that's like this, that's all okay. You may not actually get a textbook pattern saying, guys, this is the easy way. No, there should be some deviation. There should be some noise. The whales and financial institutions are not here to make it easy for us, the retailers, to make that money. We need to go through the price action. We need to study the history. We need to make our blades as sharp as possible before you start cutting into this market. Because the land of candlesticks, it's choppy. It's manipulative. Now you're watching the regulations are starting to turn, and even exchanges which were kind of hesitant in that XRP side is now slowly starting to ease off. So the market is releasing that pressure. On a weekly, what can you see? Yeah, the momentum is big, but the volume is not that big, but it is still bigger. You have to go all the way back to Jan to meet some amount of similarity in terms of volume. That's interesting, isn't it? Because last time when you had similar move, the price actually went all the way from 2000 towards 2700. So say 30% move. Here we are doing similar and we still have 2 days more. If we do pull this up, fine, that's even better. But even at the current range, it is showing you massive bullish movement in the market and indicating something clearly to you. You go back in history, what you will see or recognize or should recognize or should not misunderstand is this portion. The MACD shows you initially I'm going down, it's dropping dead, but then immediately it changes. It crosses back up, the price starts to gain back, come back to retest. Is there some kind of similarity with what's happening right in front of you? You crossed to the downside, and what happens here is that the price is coming back up. So most likely you are going to watch a cross back to the upside, which is what we want. So the altcoin market showing you similar sign is your indication. When the money is leaving the Bitcoin side of things, you're now watching which side is the money going into. I would like to see that, man. If that's entering into the altcoin market, that's where you should be looking at. This is where you will make the big move. Say you are not heavy in the assets which are trending with the market. You are in the wrong place, my friends. If that asset is trending with this, or at least performing like this, fine. If it's performing better than this, that's perfect. Because this is the classic breakout, retest, bounce, in my opinion. You'll have resistance as you go up, so this is going to be the structure, but that's okay. You're riding this wave to the upside, and what you want is patience. The easy part, put that onto Heikinashi, put that onto Ranko charts, ride it until the weekly turns red. If you are someone who really have trouble with your emotions when the price is doing a lot of highly volatile move, put it on a 3-day. Put it on a 3-day. You may need to do more trades compared to the weekly, guys, but this is what you end up with. You buy here, you sell here, then you wait for 2 candle closes. The first closes, the second is in green. You buy. You ride till this point. So yes, you're making multiple trades, but you end up with similar ROI. That's okay. Now, if you have a balanced emotion, if you are a mature investor, no, it doesn't matter. You're buying above the moving average, green candle, and then letting it ride, letting it roll. So you sold here. That's one trade. This is the next trade. So while you were on a 3-day, you would have taken already 6-7 trades, but here it's just 2 trades. Now, if you're like, no, I'm a long-term rider, I really don't care about the short-term, put it on a monthly and just ride that to the sky. You'll have volatile months, but until that month close in red, you don't care. You just want to ride. That's the easiest way to put yourself into this market and avoid the maximum noise as possible. Now, this is one of my favorite assets. It is starting to show you green candles. In a couple of videos back, when we were trying to form that, I told you, okay, the moving average is showing me I'm going to cross to the upside. Historically speaking, this guy corrects first before it goes up. Corrects first before it goes up. Why not this time though, right? And it happened. Just as we can see, the price actually came back down close to 0.5 from 0.56. Now it's trading at 0.52. So XRP is showing you it is clearly watching these levels. So we saw that on the Bitcoin chart. We are still bullish. The weekly is going up. It's looking perfect. The Ether is clearly showing you it bounced back off. The weekly RSI is about to enter into the overbought territory. That's Ether on a weekly. When you enter the overbought territory, you know what's starting there. That's like the crazy euphoric season of the market that may last 30 days, but history suggests it may last 90 days. 70 to 90 days is going to be a good estimate of what you can see when that action actually happens. This is great. The first move started in last October. It kind of ended up in the March. So it took some time. So if the next leg is going to be shorter than that, the upside is going to be massive. So back to total altcoin market. You're putting that on the monthly. You're looking on the Japanese candles and it shows you, yeah, you have selling pressure. But then you break it down on a weekly and it shows I'm trying to bounce back up. I would like to retest that $780 billion mark on total altcoin markets excluding Ether. If you break that 780 mark, go above 790, that's a good signal that you're going all the way back up. The first level of correction is done. This is what we want to see. So follow the market very well and don't just give emotions that room to mess with your ROI. So guys, if you want the updates, the ideas shared, the breakouts, the calls, my trades, you can be in the SI family with the 1,000+ members who are already taking benefit of all of those. You can use the link in the description below to reach me. If you haven't smashed that like button yet and you received value for your time here in the Scientific Investor family, smash that like button for me. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.